So, Path of Exile 2 0.2. Um, let's just go ahead and get the title out the way. That was, it's a title. Do I think the current patch is a 0.2 out of 10? No. Do I rate it very highly? No. Did I play it very much? No. Do I plan to play it much? Not unless they added a bunch of changes early on in this patch. I started with elemental spears. I wanted to very much key in on that. I wasn't really interested in the physical or the bleeding side of things. And right from the jump, elemental spears just feel very weak. They're clunky. They've got additional attack time. Before you get charges, they just don't really do anything. And even after you get charges, they barely do anything, at least in my opinion. And it's a hard sell for me. I kind of crashed out after the first character was so bad. I decided, you know what, let's come back. We can just pretend the spirit skills aren't there, because I didn't want to play physical, especially since I was hearing that Rake was like extremely strong, and I assume they're probably gonna pull that back in line fairly quickly. So I wanted to just avoid that for now. So I went with a crossbow build. The crossbow build actually felt fairly decent. We were doing good damage while leveling through the campaign. It felt decent on bosses, But then I had to stop and think about it. And the reality of the situation with Path of Exile 2 is that the things that I'm not a fan of are still front and center with this game. Your first campaign run is just so mind-numbingly slow and such a slog. Like, it was 7 hours, and Fubgun and Ben were just now in Act 1 cruel when I had checked at that point. Okay, and I'm definitely not at their speed. So you're telling me I'm gonna, like, every time we have a league, I'm gonna spend the first 2 days progressing the campaign? That's a hard sell. That's a really hard sell. I'm not the fastest at the PoE1 campaign. However, I mean, even with my slow speed, by the end of the day, I'm usually just getting into maps, right? Add on there the fact that, like, my first build was just complete and utter garbage. I don't know what's going on with elemental spears. Maybe in in-game they feel really good and they pump. I don't know. I don't have that experience. But if the early game experience is so trash, I don't think, like, you've got to give me a reason to keep wanting to progress, other than this might be good maybe sometime later in game. Because when I first put a skill on, if it can't be that bad, and they just worked terrible. The new ascendancies, let's just look at the new ascendancies real quick. I haven't touched this. I hear this is doing well. Lich is, there's a lot of people playing Witch. There's a lot of people playing Amazon. I actually think the Amazon class, or the Amazon ascendancy, looks, is it an Amazon? Do I even have the name of that right? The Elemental Huntress skill tree, not the Ritualist, I actually think that tree to me looks good. That's actually what I was going to play the crossbows on, because it looks like it has some interesting things going on there. Plus, it's got like the elemental leech going on. There's some different things you can do in there with, like, accuracy and all kinds of stuff, and it just looked like an interesting and fun tree. And I was excited to play it. It's just, I'm not excited to go through 10, 11, 12, 13 hours of campaign. I don't know how long it would take me to do the whole thing at this point, but it would definitely be longer than 8 hours, right? And I just can't, man. There's too many other ARPGs. Like, I've been having fun with Hero Siege. I'm choosing to play Hero Siege over PoE 2. That should tell you something right there. And I'll say, you know what? The biggest letdown for me with this patch, and in its infancy, because this is very early, and, like, this is still day one, right? This is still day one. My biggest problem with this patch is that it pushed last year. Because having touched this and having gone back and feeling it, honestly, it could just be that Path of Exile 2 is just not for me. I don't know if that's I don't know that for sure, but I kind of feel that. And I mean, if that turns out to be the case, it is what it is. I'll play PoE 1 for as long as they support the game, and I'll move and I'll be playing the other RPGs that I enjoy. So, yep. Also, I'm really not a fan of how they are, like, I get that it's a marketing strategy, but it really does feel like they're treating these as leagues for PoE 2. It doesn't feel like they're treating this as early access. It feels like they're treating it as leagues, and they're like worried about the economy and all this, that, and the other. Treat it like early access, okay? If you want to do league stuff, do it in Path of Exile 1, where we're fucking starved for it. Please. That's all I've got. Yeah. I'm gonna be doing some more Hero Siege stuff. I've really fallen in love with that game. Later on this month, we've got Torchlight coming out, and we've got Last Epoch coming out. Unfortunately, on the same day, because LE had to push their stuff to make room for PoE 2, which honestly, I think LE could have crushed PoE 2 today. I think they could have did it. Maybe not crushed, but I think they actually could have been decent competition for Path of Exile 2 today. And I'm sad we didn't get to see that, because it'd be one thing if this patch had gone a different way, but like we all knew coming into this, this was a massive nerf patch. There was no way that that wasn't going to be the case. It just simply was a fact. That was a fact of life. We all knew it. We just didn't know to what extent things were going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. If you want to see some more PoE 1 content, once we get some of that, I'll be doing more of that, of course, always. If there's some changes to this, maybe, and maybe, you know what, maybe I just come back into this in a couple days once there's some items on the market and I can kind of like twink my character out a little bit, and the campaign isn't just so mind-numbingly slow to deal with. And then maybe I'll enjoy it more and then I can go through it. But League launch right now for Path of Exile 2 ain't it for me. Like and subscribe. We're trying to get our first 1,000 subs. I appreciate you.